Está con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche, la voz de las latinas en América. Aquí le traemos todas las herramientas para que puedan mejorar su calidad de vida. We bring to Café con Leche all the tools in some way that people can advance and improve the quality of life that they have. So this is why we are talking about these topics. I know I know that it's not comfortable for people that we don't know how to handle the grammar, that we don't pronounce the last letters of the words because I don't know why. But it's so important that the students learn English like you guys are learn Spanish, and you are bilingual and do the two languages so well. What can we do to help to motivate students to do it?
Well, I personally think that in the Southwest 5 states of the United States, Spanish was at one time the dominant language, and in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, they agreed that the dominant language would be Spanish in the Southwest states. We haven't honored that treaty, and we should be teaching Spanish. We really should be teaching Spanish to all of our children and when they're young, so that they can, perpetuate or stick with the language, the dominant language, and also learn the business language, which is English.
And do you know how come in Europe they are able to speak 4, 5,
Exactly.
6 different languages?
We are we're sort of dominated by laziness, and I present company included. I didn't learn Spanish, and I should have, but I took up Russian in high school, so I wasn't too lazy. I tried something different, but it wasn't Spanish, which would have been certainly more useful for me.
Any advice of you guys to tell us what are you going to do to be able to, that all the students that come from maybe high school, they go out speaking both languages in a reasonable term?
Honestly, I feel that, and we do this already. We communicate to our students that speaking Spanish is an asset. So they don't see it that way. And I think, like you mentioned before, because maybe they're lazy, but speaking two language really is an asset. And I think it's just for students to be able to realize that and understand that employers are going to prefer someone that's bilingual versus someone that's not bilingual. Especially because we're serving different nationalities out there. We have people speaking different languages. Here in the AV Valley, we have a lot of parents that only speak Spanish. So it's just communicating, also enrolling students into Spanish classes, teaching the field by literacy. We have incoming freshmen that don't speak Spanish, so it's just creating a pathway of them taking Spanish all 4 years. So by the time they are seniors, they're able to graduate with their field of biliteracy, and they're able to speak both languages. Craig, do you want to add more?
Yeah, so I'm one of the field of biliteracy coordinators along with Mrs. Martinez, and every year we meet with every single Spanish class that we offer on campus and talk to those students about, again, how this is a sense of pride. So if your family does speak Spanish and you kind of know it, but you need to work on your skills, or whether you are even fluent, that this is something you should be proud of. And then I speak about my own personal experience, where Spanish is my second language. I was an AV high school student, just like these kids are, and how I've been able to get different jobs, get paid even a differential for being bilingual, and how it's very much a resource, but is also a sign of intelligence, all kinds of those things to motivate these kids to understand how important it is to speak more than one language, and how many more people you can connect with and interact with and learn from. I talk to them about different friends of mine who maybe are from El Salvador, and the food that they have and their cultural traditions and all of these things, because I'm able to speak Spanish and connect with more people that I wouldn't necessarily be able to if I was not bilingual.
Bueno, estamos hablando de todos los beneficios que produce ser bilingüe. Para los que hablan inglés, aprender español ha sido también un activo muy importante que les ha abierto las puertas para conseguir mejores empleos, que les paguen adicionalmente una compensación por ser bilingües, y cómo tienes la oportunidad no solamente de avanzar más en tu trabajo, pero también de conocer personas de otros lugares, tener amigos de otros países. Pero es muy importante que los que hablan español, dos cosas, que mejoren su español, porque desafortunadamente el español que aprenden no es el mejor, y que también aprendan inglés porque estamos aquí y tenemos que avanzar. Si no, nos vamos a quedar siempre estancados como personas de segunda clase y no queremos eso. I think that we have to speak the two languages, otherwise you are always be treated like a second class person. If you don't speak good English, it's like I tell you because I am a professional and I speak very good Spanish, but when I speak English, I can see that everybody put the eyes in white, like, oh, she's going to start to speak. And I know that it's bad, but I have to continue practicing. Otherwise, I am always being treated like that. Like, oh, yeah, poor lady, she doesn't even speak English. No?
Well, I think some of that is a sensitivity on your part because I think you do very well in English. But
thank you so much.
oh, you've earned every bit of that. But there is that attitude that I understand what you're saying, and there's not a lot you can do about people's attitudes, but just to continue to pursue and communicate because you do it well.
I will try to improve. Briana, let's talk about the special need kids. What are you doing for them? Because I think that this is so important role that not many people have the how do you say, the dedication to work with the special needs students. Tell me, what are you doing for them?
In any
We have
language.
seen an increase in our special needs population. We're close to about 400 kids now.
Wow.
So we're slowly increasing. We just want to make sure that they have the right resources and the right accommodations. We want to make sure that we're supporting teachers so they are able to deliver high quality instruction. We meet with parents, with psychologists, we meet with social workers. We have a team of several different stakeholders where we sit down and hold IEPs for these students that we have, just to make sure that they are assessed correctly, they have the resources they need, they have the supports they need, and that teachers are really following that individualized education plan, which is their IEP, and that we also support teachers and that they have what they need and they're properly equipped to serve our kids with special needs.
Now that the schools districts have so much money, because there are a lot of money, it's not like in the previous crisis in which there were no resources. You just have to use your creativity to provide the best that you can to students, no? Don't you think?
Well, yes and no.
Yes
a
and
lot
no.
of the money that schools have was a COVID relief fund. That is one-time money, so they have to be careful about how they spend that money. I hear a lot of people say schools have a lot of money. Well, yeah, they have more money. It's true. They don't have a lot of money. They have to be careful about how they spend
Well,
that.
but I can imagine that you can justify everything with COVID. And
Oh.
by the way, I was reading an article that say that another wave of COVID is coming now. Very soon.
They anticipate at least the flu season is going to be tough, and the COVID season will probably follow it.
They say that there is a new
strain.
variant
New strain,
that is not going to respect any vaccination that we already have. It's so terrible. Pero bueno, estamos hablando de los niños de necesidades especiales y lo que nos estaba diciendo la subdirectora Briana Rivera es que ellos tratan de tener todo lo que necesitan los estudiantes. Tienen 400 estudiantes de necesidades especiales y bueno, tratan de proveerle con todos los recursos y todo lo que necesiten para poder ser más exitosos. Si lo quieres decir en español, por favor, Briana.
Nomás estaba diciendo que tratamos de tener todos los recursos que los estudiantes y que los maestros necesitan en la clase. También tenemos IEPs. So IEPs es básicamente donde los sentamos con el psicólogo, el social worker, el maestro, el subdirector, el case carrier, y hablamos de cómo podemos soportar el estudiante en la clase y cómo podemos también soportar el maestro.
Sí.
Y básicamente los enfocamos que todos tengan los recursos que necesitan.
Fíjense qué avanzados están acá en Estados Unidos, que se hace un plan de educación individual para cada uno de los niños. No es para todos los niños en especiales el mismo plan, porque todos tienen diferentes necesidades. Hay niños con parálisis cerebral, con retraso mental, con autismo, y se hace un plan individual para cumplir las necesidades, no solamente de su diagnóstico, ¿no?, sino como individuos. Esta es una cosa que yo creo que solo se ve aquí en Estados Unidos. I believe I am talking about the IEP, and how fantastic is to do that effort to try to help every single child in the special needs that they have.
Right.
I don't think, I don't know if any other country has something like that, but it's so good. In many countries, they don't do anything for special needs kids. Bueno,
We really strive to support all of our students, and it just, like our like I mentioned before, our special population, we make sure that they have those additional resources that they need. And really, if we're thinking about it, that's what equity is, and just making sure that every student has what they need.
Right.
Se trata de que nos está diciendo la subdirectora Briana Rivera, que se trata de proveerle a todos los estudiantes todo lo que necesitan para desarrollar todo su potencial. Y esto es excelente.